name is Roland Marchand. I'm a Vietnam vet. Vietnam, 1967-68. Lost my leg at Way City, 68. And I'm 65 years old, and as we get older, it's harder for us to get around and to do things that we did when we were younger, like fishing and hunting. And I got a hold of Fox News, Bill O'Reilly, and he's in charge of the Independent Fund, which is a organization that takes donations from citizens in the United States, and they donate, and then they buy us these tank chairs so we could do things that we wouldn't be able to do without them. Go in the snow, beach, water, up hills, down hills, hunting, fishing. It'll do anything. It's got a gun case. It's got a light, spotlight, but I'm using this as a cup holder today. It's got K-bar. I got a winch in the back. It's just something that Fox News and the people of the United States that take care of veterans, that care, they're the ones that have donated this stuff. Funny thing is I've been a veteran for 46 years, and I've asked the VA for a wheelchair. They don't have the money, or they don't want to give it to us. So it's amazing that we have to go outside the VA to take care of it, but that's just the way it is.
General Manager for the Orange County Employees Association, representing about 18,000 public employees in Orange County at the County of Orange, at cities, and at special districts throughout the county. I grew up in Garden Grove. I am the daughter of a working family. My parents, Chris and Jackie, struggled, just like most working families do, to help put us through school and to, pay for my dance classes and soccer practice and all of that. And they always instilled in me the value of hard work. I was able to go to college with the help of scholarships and my grandparents. My grandmother is a teacher. She taught at Cal State Fullerton as a geologist. And it was her sacrifice and my grandfather's sacrifices that really helped us realize the American dream. And after college, I joined the Orange County Register. I was an investigative reporter there after serving a brief stint in Brownsville, Texas, where I worked as a crime reporter. At the Register, you know, I covered everything from city politics to crime to healthy communities to you know, the legal system and what some of the flaws were. And the reason I was a journalist was the same reason that I think my grandma Ruth was a teacher. You know, I believe in giving back to the community that helped raise me and helped make me a successful member of society. I believe in giving back. And so when I was offered a job at the Orange County Employees Association, I realized that that was the next best way to give back as well. You know, unions are comprised of working people who stand together to have a seat at the table and to advocate for the American dream. And it's a dream that unfortunately has been slipping away for so many Americans lately. You know, you see the divide between the wealth of folks who have a lot and folks who don't have anything, who really struggle to get by. And, you know, I don't think that's fair. I think that working people deserve a seat at the table, deserve the ability to advocate for, you know, good health care benefits, for retirement, so that they can live their elder years in dignity at home like my grandmother did with her teacher's pension. And so, you know, I believe in that, and I believe that that is the key to getting back the American dream that has been slipping away. As this economy recovers, increasingly people who work hard and do everything they're supposed to do, they still have to struggle to be able to put their kids to school, send their kids to sports, and you know, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that that's the America that our forefathers imagined at all. So I want to be a part of that solution, and I'm proud to do that with the Orange County Employees Association and all of these working people here who stand together to advance those interests, to advance the position of working people across this country. So here we're at a Veterans Day event. Unions from across Orange County have come together to put this event on. More than 4,000 people are here. We are collecting food for vets in need because, my Lord, there are people who have served this country, who fought to protect the freedoms that we enjoy, and they come home and they don't have jobs, or they don't have adequate jobs that don't pay a living wage. And they are in need of just the basic needs: food, supplies, toiletries. And, you know, we don't think that's right. We want to be part of the solution. So we are aiming to raise a ton of food to tell our veterans, thanks a ton. That's the very least we can do, and we're doing a lot more as well. We have a program across the state of California really trying to advocate for policies that connect veterans to the services they need and good jobs when they come home. And, you know, all week, this last week, labor unions from across the state of California have been volunteering to help vets. Just this last Saturday, we were cleaning out the USS Iowa. You know, we have been collecting food at all of the different work locations of our members throughout Orange County, and we're going to continue giving back. And we really hope that you and Costa Mesa stand with us. Thank you so much for the time and for taking the time to come down to the event.
All right, so today the Teamster Horsemen, along with approximately 60 other motorcycle riders, started off at the Orange County Labor Fed, and we ended up here at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Today is a special day, not only to us, but to everyone here, for the vets that went out there and served our country. To my left, I got Danny, old school Danny. We got Robert and we got Rambo, who all served in Vietnam. And this is why we're here today. We're here because they went out there and served our country so that we can live the way we live here today.
Hello, my name is Bob Palazzola. I'm the president of the Costa Mesa Historical Society. Today we are at the Orange County Fairgrounds, which was the former site of the Santa Ana Army Air Base. Here we have welcome to the Santa Ana Army Air Base. And the Santa Ana Army Air Base was here from 1942 to 1946. The outline of the base, as you can see on this, encompassed Orange Coast College, Costa Mesa High School, Orange County Fairgrounds, City Hall, T. Winkle Park, and the only part that's federal property right now is this area, which used to be the National Guard. The Costa Mesa Historical Society keeps the memory of the base alive through events like this and through photographs and a cadet newsletter that we send out to former members of the base. The base processed 149,000 personnel, of which 128,000 graduated. The base was a pre-flight training base for pilots, bombardiers, and navigators. After they left here, they went on to advanced and primary schools to learn their craft, whether a bombardier or a pilot. The people that left this base eventually came back to populate the area, and which contributed to the growth of Orange County. There's a lot of importance to this space that people don't realize, and we hope to continue our mission as far as educating the people on what happened here during those years.
What can I say? I was a California boy my whole life. Born here in Orange County, born in Orange, lived in Orange, went to school in Orange, graduated, and went in the Army. Went through Los Angeles MEPS. Did my basic training over at Fort Benning, Georgia. Did my infantry school there. Went to 10th Mountain Division. Went to Airborne school. I was in Egypt. I was in the Sinai Peninsula. Halfway through my tour as part of the Multinational Force and Observer deployment when 9/11 happened. Came back to Fort Drum, New York. Went on some training for the Stryker Brigade. Then went to Afghanistan for about 10 months straight. Was all over that country. Did my time there. Got out. Wanted to go to Iraq, but I couldn't be guaranteed a chance that I could go to Iraq in the military. Maybe I just didn't work hard enough to get it, but I decided I still wanted to go, so I got out of the military and I went as a Department of State contractor, as a bodyguard over in Iraq. I did that for about a year. Wanted to get married, so I came home, got married, went and used my GI Bill, got my degree. Decided that I wanted to do something to help other people out, maybe help other veterans out. And so I started getting interested in volunteering over at the VA. I started volunteering at the VA hospital in Long Beach. Started thinking maybe something working with veterans is what I want to do. So I applied and got into the Master's of Social Work program at Cal State Long Beach, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm still in the inactive reserve, but right now I'm also a student working with veterans. I enjoy it quite a bit. I hope to work for the VA or go back in the military as an officer, as a social worker. This is a kind of light Hummer. It's not one of the up-armored ones. It has some anti-ballistic features on it, on the doors and on the glass. That will protect you a bit. They're great all-terrain vehicles. They're really great workhorses. I was in Afghanistan and my friend was driving one of these, and they're not supposed to be able to take any major hits, because if they take any hits, the rounds or the shrapnel from an IED or a roadside bomb will go right through it. And what happened was they drove over one, and it was a small one, and it blew up, and their oil pan fell out of the vehicle, and the vehicle died. And when it happened, initially they thought their tire blew out, so they got out to say, oh, what happened? And when they looked underneath, they saw there was the burn marks and the smell of explosives. They realized they drove over a bomb. So they all jumped back in, and they couldn't start the vehicle again. So what they did is they called it in, and they ended up connecting ropes to the front and towing it away. So nobody got hurt, thankfully, on that time. But they have a special place in my heart, these vehicles. They're loud, they're crude, but they get the job done. So they're a lot of fun.
file. Behind AJ, take a file. Behind AJ, behind AJ.
Hi, this is Trooper Ron Jones at the Orange County Veterans Day program on November the 11th, 2014, and I've been asked to give you a thumbnail history of the Buffalo Soldiers. It's going to be kind of hard for me, but let me just let you know about this. The Buffalo Soldiers were formed by an act of Congress on July 28th, 1866. This is a copy of the first page. It was identified as an act to increase and fix the military peace establishment of the United States. And within this act, it called for the formation of a new military group that would be identified as the Army of the United States. Within this act, they identified the artillery, the cavalry, and the infantry, and how many units they were going to grow to the existing units. There were 6 existing cavalry units at the time. They grew 4 more, but in the act it said 2 of which will be composed of colored men. There were 24 infantry regiments. They grew 25 more, 4 of which would be composed of colored men. That sentence, which would be composed of colored men, allowed for the first time for a black man to voluntarily enlist in the military in the United States Army when this country was not at war during peacetime. This was never possible before 1866. It was considered an experiment because there were 2 regiments of cavalry, 4 regiments of infantry, only 6,000 men total, when there was 178 regiments, 178,000 men served during the Civil War. So these 6,000 men were an experiment. It wasn't sure what a black man could do for their country during time of peace, but because of this experiment, these men were the first minorities to be part of the regular U.S. Army, and what they did was they opened the door to all the minorities who came after them. So if it wasn't for the Buffalo Soldiers, then you wouldn't have Tuskegee Airmen, you wouldn't have the Montford Point Marines, you wouldn't have the Triple Nickel Parachute Unit, or the Harlem Hellfighters, or you wouldn't have the 442nd Combat Regiment, which is the most decorated World War II regiment in the history of the military, and they were all made up of Japanese. You wouldn't have women in the military today. The Buffalo Soldiers were the first minorities to serve, and all the minorities who came after them, they owe their service to these men who came in 1866 as the segregated regiment. And this is a World War II Buffalo Soldier. Okay, you can see he's got his spurs on. He's a corporal, very proud to be a member of the cavalry. In 1944, the Army deactivated the cavalry regiments, so this is one of the last of the World War II Buffalo Soldiers to serve our country on horseback. But again, he served in a segregated regiment when it was thought that there wasn't a lot that blacks could do for the country in the military. Now, this is the Vietnam War black sailor who was a nuclear engineer, served aboard 3 nuclear-powered submarines, was the only nuclear engineer on all the subs that he served on, but he served in an integrated military. So here we have World War II Buffalo soldiers serving in a segregated military when it was thought there wasn't a lot that blacks could do for their country. Here during the Vietnam War, we have a young black man serving as a nuclear engineer, which is the most technically challenging academic program that anyone in the military can serve under, serving his country and serving his country proudly. And by the way, this is my dad, Trooper Frederick Douglass Jones.
That's your dad?
And this is me during Vietnam War. So this is Trooper Ron Jones out here at the Orange County Veterans Day program. Member of the Greater Los Angeles Area Chapter, 9th and 10th Horse Cavalry Association, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Navy, Petty Officer, First Class, serving aboard 3 nuclear-powered submarines. Thank you very much.
Make a statement. We don't want to just thank you, but thank all the veterans who are here today. The 1.8 million veterans in California. But our unions also want to make a commitment to help every veteran who returns home to achieve the American dream that they so proudly fought to defend when they were at war. And so we have union booths all over the place here today because we're committed for recruitment and training of all veterans, especially the helmets to hard hats and the building trades, to train and recruit all veterans for a good job, for the future, for their family. Nobody deserves more part of the American dream than our veterans who serve our country. We're here today to say thank you. Happy Veterans Day, and keep up the fight.
Welcome everybody. If everybody can gather around, because this is going to be our opportunity to honor, is that too loud? People in the front say yes, the people in the back say no. Must be a crowd of vets. Can't get us all together to agree on anything, except one thing, and that is we're committed, remain committed throughout our lives to fight for freedom. That's the one thing we can all agree on. And as we celebrate the vets today, let's not ever forget the men and women who today are engaged in combat as we speak, deployed all over the world, and facing an enemy that would like to deprive us of what we enjoy so much today, the opportunity to gather, regardless of political party, regardless of partisanship, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of age, because we are free, and every vet here who we honor today stood up and fought for it, and that's why we are able to stand here today. And thank God for the young men and women that are continuing to serve, because as we enjoy this, we all know, all of us that are vets, we all know what they're going through as we sit here today. My name is Nick Berardino. I'm the general manager of the Orange County Employees Association. I want to introduce our honor. Whoever cheered when we said that, I love you. Just do it again. I love you more. I want to introduce our guests. First, the major sponsors, the Orange County Fair and Event Center. And with us, representing the Orange County Fair and Event Center, is the chairman of the Orange County Fair Board, appointed by Governor Jerry Brown, Ashley Aiken. One of the co-sponsors that really helped so much to put on this event. Everybody should come here every weekend. Come to the swap meet. The marketplace. From the Orange County Marketplace that donated so much for this event, Jeff Teller. Jeff Teller. Also from PBS SoCal and the Orange County Veterans Advisory Council, the soldier here that brought the horses and everything else. Right here, Bobby McDonald. The president of the Orange County Employees Association, the person that says, hey, look, we're going to have this event this year. Before we go out and raise any money, we'll put up the money. And great leadership, Leslie Neby. Leslie, there she is. Anybody wants a loan, talk to her afterwards. Also, a major sponsor, United Nurses Association of California. Stand up here. And from the United, that's Mike Zakos, Navy Vietnam War veteran. Very good. Also, the guy that stood at the head of the table 2 years ago when the labor community decided that we needed to do this, and he stood up and he told all the vice presidents representing 2.1 million workers in the state of California, he looked at the vice presidents, all of us, and he said, we're going to do it, and we're going to make it happen, and we're going to do it for the vets. Our great leader, Art Pulaski. Our honored guest, of course, he's sitting back here, he'll be up here soon, the recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor in the Korean War, Tabor Rubin, Medal of Honor recipient. I also want to recognize Tracy Woods from The Voice of OC. Tracy, can you raise your hand? Tracy, raise your hand, was the first female war correspondent to go into battle with us in Vietnam. So there she is. And what courage that took back in those days. First of all, to go into battle as a war correspondent, but secondly of all, and most importantly, being us old Marines that fought in Vietnam, being a woman to come out there and be a war correspondent. So congratulations, Tracy. Also, thank you to K-Earth 101, the Korean Consulate General, for doing so much. We really appreciate that. The Korean Consulate General for coming and saying, honor these great vets from the Korean War. Saddleback Chapel, who came in and gave us donation of carnations and Hurley t-shirts, so let's thank Saddleback Chapel for their effort. Office of Assemblyman Don Wagner, and we have Sam Hahn, who's the district director, who's here today. Good. Appreciate all of their and effort. Supervisor Shawn Nelson and Steve Spurnack from his office. Here's Supervisor Nelson, who's the chairman of the Board of Supervisors. Office of Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva. Sharon Quirk-Silva right here. Steve Spriggs and Terry McCarthy from AMVET. And State Senators, the office of Mimi Walters and State Senator Lou Correa. Where's Lou? Hand up there, Lou. If there's ever a person in Sacramento that fought and fought and fought for vets tirelessly, Senator Lou Correa. He fought for us every single day. Every single day. Also, Assembly members Travis Allen and Assembly member-elect Matt Harper and Assembly member-elect Young Kim. This is where it gets tough for you. I'm going to start missing names and then people start shooting. Oh, here comes more. Claudia Alvarez. Where's Claudia? There he is, Claudia Alvarez. Rancho Santiago Community College District. Tustin Mayor Al Murray. Costa Mesa Council Wendy Lease. Council Member Sandy Guinness. Jay Humphrey. Council Member Katrina Foley. Santa Ana School District, Valerie Mesqua. Council member from Newport Beach, Keith Curry. I don't know, there's another name on here I'm missing. And of course, we are very fortunate to have, if there's one member in Congress that is a fighter, and I mean a fighter for vets. I mean a person that stands up, understands vets, fights for vets, won't let anything get in her way, doesn't care about partisan politics, doesn't care about anything other than to be sure that the vets are taken care of. Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez. The best. Also, she's a ranking member of Tactical Air and Land Forces Subcommittee, member of the Subcommittee on Strategic Forces, Homeland Security. Keep watching. Keep watching. In addition, we have Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva, who I introduced, who is the chair of the Vets Affairs Committee. And I know I'll miss somebody, but the next person is the owner of the, uh-oh, here we go. OC Register, the person that owns the register and that believes in freedom and who gave us for this event tens of thousands of dollars of free publicity for the event and ran those full color page ads that have been running all week, did it for nothing. The owner of the register, Eric Spitz. We also have Diane Carey here, and I think that if I've missed you, and there's one other person I want to recognize, because today is my 25th wedding anniversary. Yeah. Chairman Nelson said, "Smart man." I wish he would have said that when we were negotiating with him for the last contract. But for all of you vets, the reason why I want to, and I don't see her out here, but I think she's here somewhere. Can you raise your hand, Kathleen? There she is. Stand up. No, she won't, but stand up. But for all of you and all the wives of the vets that have been awakened 100 times in the middle of the night, that have dried our tears, that have wiped the sweat from our face with the cold sweats, the ones that hold our hands for many, many nights. My wife has been there for me the whole time. When I first met her, well, not, I mean, after we were married, but I was sleeping and I had a nightmare and I dove from where I was sleeping in the bed over her onto the floor. I thought that would be the end, but it was only the beginning of what all of you wives and husbands and spouses have endured for those of us that have been through what we've been through. So to you, Kathleen, thank you, and happy 25th anniversary. That was your present, by the way. Anyway, it's my pleasure now to introduce to you Bobby McDonald. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. We're very, very fortunate to have Congressman Loretta Sanchez here on our stage, a big supporter of veterans, a longtime supporter of everybody. She even likes me on occasions. But anyway, we'd like to have Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez say a few words on Veterans Day as always. Loretta, thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Woohoo, nice! All right. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Great. Well, it's great to be here together. Thank you to AFL-CIO, all the union members, all the elected officials, all our veterans and veterans family and everybody that's out here to support veterans. Thanks for being here with us today. So, the 11th hour of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. A war to end all wars. And yet, this past June, Jack, my husband and 23 years service in the U.S. Army Infantry, and I went to represent the United States in the commemoration of D-Day in Normandy. And it reminded me of a young man who was born in Philadelphia and grew up there in a pretty wealthy family. His father constructed most of the buildings, the nice buildings, the long-time buildings that you see in Philly. And then came the stock market and the Great Depression. And this young man found himself moving out of his mansion and into a row house rented in the south of Philadelphia. And a few years later, with some of his friends, he enlisted in World War II in the United States Army. And he found himself in the early morning of the 6th of June, going onto the shores at Normandy at Omaha Beach. He was hurt on that beach, and the next thing he knew, he woke up in a hospital in England. On that day, one of his brothers in arms had managed to pick him up and take him back to a ship to save his life. He never knew who that was. And a month later, he returned to France to continue the war all the way to V-Day. Then he returned to the United States, out of the Army, looking for a job. And because no one would hire him, he couldn't find a job, he went back into the U.S. Army. And he found himself a few years later fighting in Korea, where he was finally wounded so badly that he was discharged from the Army. So you would think that a young man who had seen all of this would be down on his luck, down on his time, down on his country. But no, he came back. He found a job at Boeing as an engineer, building the aircraft that our military in some cases still fly today. And he raised a family. He had 3 boys, a preacher, a police detective, and my husband, a U.S. Army colonel. This is what you are made of. You who serve, you who go and serve and take the conflicts, take the physical and the mental impairments, and you come back and you put your life together and you move forward and you make America great. Thank you to all of those who have served. To our United States Post Office, who's, I know when I go, I see so many vets' faces there. Thank you for the work that you do. Always getting the mail. To my little old grandmother on a farm in Arkansas in the middle of nowhere, and 3 days usually for 45 cents or whatever the forever stamp is these days. And to all of you, let us celebrate, because today is a celebration about all of those who preserve and want and fight for freedom and for peace in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you. Our next speaker is a gentleman by the name of, well, he's the State Senator Lou Correa. And State Senator Lou Correa, about 7 years ago, came to me and asked me, he says, Bobby, we need to do something for veterans here in Orange County. So we kind of put together the fulfillment of the commitment to veterans in Orange County. And he's always really come through with that. He's done a lot of work for veterans throughout. We had a fulfillment of commitment to veterans too, to follow up on those commitments we said that we were going to do. A great leader, a great patriot, a great friend, Senator Lou Correa.
Thank you, Bobby Mack. First of all, let's give our Congresswoman another round of applause, please. Great words of wisdom there. Her words remind me of that saying that goes, all gave some and some gave all when it comes to serving for a great country. You know, it's been an honor to serve as your senator in Central Orange County for the last 8 years. One of the most important jobs I've had in the California legislature was to serve as chair of the California Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, where we passed very important legislation. And if I was to sum up those years that I've been in the California legislature in terms of what we did, I would say that today in the state of California, if you see a veteran, if you see a soldier waiting in line, you put them, you bring them up to the front of the line. That's what you're supposed to do. You give these folks the right place in society. Today, if a veteran is going to university or college and is called to duty and goes to serve overseas, comes back, doesn't have to start over. He gets to the front of the line when it comes to admissions. If a veteran needs financial aid and he's got his GI Bill, we want to make sure that veteran gets the benefit of the Fed and the state together. If that veteran needs state services, not only education, employment, anything else the state touches, that veteran, he or she, gets to move to the front of the line. That's the way it should be. And let me say today that I want to thank the organizers today. Eric, with the Register, thank you for making this so important. Our elected officials. Nick, thank you very much. Bobby, and most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you that's here today, because you've heard the message in our communities that we're here today to honor our veterans on Veterans Day. So let me conclude by saying, God bless our veterans and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Correa. I'd like to bring to the stage now Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva. I said it right that time, right? Okay. Sharon Quirk-Silva, who this year was very, very fortunate enough to be head of the Veterans Committee for the Assembly. And she worked with a lot of veterans issues and brought them to the front and got them passed. So with no further ado, Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva.
It's an honor to be here, and to those veterans who are here and to their families, thank you so much for your service. My dad was in the Air Force and is not here today, and my brother in the Coast Guard, and so those families, I know what it means to be a veteran's family. I too celebrate those accomplishments that we have made as a state and a country for our veterans, but we have more to do. We have more to do. When we see those veterans on our corners that are homeless, we have more to do. When we see the unemployment for our veterans staggering at lower than others, we have more to do. When we know that the services that they need to attain to acquire their benefits are at a lower rate here in the state of California, we have to reach out and make those connections. And so I'm so proud as the Veterans Affairs Committee Chair that we made huge steps this last year. We put in over $4 million to make sure that we could hire more veteran service officers, to get them out to our campuses, to make sure they have those connections. I will tell you this, we stand with labor here, and many of our veterans go into those professions. So thank you to labor. Thank you to those who are here that are hiring those veterans. Hire a vet. Hire a vet. It's simple. It's simple. Actions speak louder than words. Hire a vet. And when we say we care about our vets, show it by your votes. And when we say that we care, open your door. Because we have veterans that are standing on corners, and it's not acceptable as Americans. It's simply not acceptable. And I'm proud of the work that you have done, but as a country, we have to do more, and we need to do more. So I say thank you to those veterans, and I'm so proud of AB 1453, and those of you who worked with us know what that is, and that is the Orange County Veterans Cemetery. And that legislation means something. It means that we are telling our veterans you have a place here in our great county, Orange County, in the great park, to make that park a great park. So I ask you, speak to your legislators, make sure that they follow their promises, that they follow that promise to create an Orange County Veterans Cemetery. We have done our work at the legislation to pass that bill 100% bipartisan, to get the governors to sign it, and to an investment to look and study this. But it's up to our public, it's up to our elected officials to carry that through. I'm so proud of our veterans' families, and I'm proud of our community, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Okay, next up is the chair of the Board of Supervisors, Shawn Nelson, a great friend for veterans. He's even actually pretty much given us one of his aides to do everything he could in the county for veterans. And Shawn is a big, gigantic fan for veterans, and we couldn't ask for a better supporter the last couple of years as chairman of the board for Orange County, and that's Shawn Nelson.
Thank you very much. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's about the veterans today, and I just want to say on behalf of the County of Orange, we're so thrilled for the support that veterans get in Orange County. To OCEA, our employees labor group that puts this event together, it's obviously getting much bigger, and I know their intent is to grow this into a massive scale and really make this a grand celebration for Veterans Day like it should be. I want to take a moment. I grew up in North Orange County, and just honor not only all the Korean War veterans here, you're all heroes, but a particular veteran who's sitting in the front row, one of my heroes, joined the Navy on his 17th birthday, actually before, but he got to go active duty. And if I didn't point this gentleman out to you, you'd never have any idea who he is or what he's about, but he's a living legend. And when I explain, you'll get the picture. After enlisting on his 17th birthday, the Japanese and a few atomic bombs quickly ended the war, didn't see any action. But in Korea, flew over 50 combat missions as a naval pilot. And for the men in the Frozen Chosen, a few of you sitting here in the front row, maybe you knew some of my uncles, Glenn and Ralph Daly. They had to beat it back to the coast with you. As the Marines and Chesty Puller were fighting their way out of the Frozen Chosen reservoir, one naval pilot flying close ground support was shot down, knew his plane would not get back to the fleet. But rather than return and try and get back to the coast where naval aviators probably more comfortable, he stayed on station, finally dead-sticked it onto an airfield he understood was still held by the Marine Corps, only to find out he was the last American alive at the Chosen Reservoir. And with rounds hitting around his aircraft, a couple of Marines, just like these gentlemen up front, commandeered a Jeep, went back and got the naval pilot, drug his butt out of there, and he was later evacuated out of a small village back to the fleet. After Korea, went on to fight in Vietnam, and through the entire duration of the war, he flew over 300 combat missions. When I was recently with some friends, just having an enjoyable time, a cigar and a drink, as I tend to want to do, we had him with us, and one of the young men with us kind of got the picture that he'd seen a little action and asked this question: exactly how many times were you shot down? And the response was, without being facetious, which war are you referring to? He was keel-hauled by an aircraft carrier, which for those of you who don't know what that means, he took a cold shot off the bow of one of our enormous aircraft carriers, and through the entire 1,000-foot length, as it ran him over, felt his aircraft bump against the bottom, knowing he'd surely be dead, only to pop up on the backside, once again surviving. Just an incredible feat. When the Oriskany caught fire, many of you remember John McCain's, heroic story. Well, the hero that led the search parties under the deck while it was burning and saved all these gentlemen, none other than the same person I'm talking about. Only just because it's so impressive to me. The list of awards: the Navy Meritorious Distinguished Service Award, and many of these on multiple occasions, Silver Stars, Legion of Merit Medal, the Distinguished Flying Cross from the Navy 4 times, the Navy Marine Corps Medal of Heroism, the Navy Commendation Medal 3 times, Purple Heart for being shot down, burned, etc., and all kinds of other foreign awards. I just want to say, Admiral Smith, thank you for being such a great mentor. Thank you very much. God bless America.
All right, and our last speaker will be the Orange County Register, Mr. Eric Spitz. And as he walks up, I want you to know that Nick Berardino earlier mentioned some of the ads that we had in the paper. Well, I worked, don't get mad at me, Eric, but I worked for the other company in Los Angeles for a while, and I used to sell co-op ads. And I know what those ads cost. And when you wake up in the morning, you open up the Orange County Register and you see a full-page ad in color, you go, whoa. Then you see the one what they did with Son Sargent the other day, in full dress military uniform as a Marine celebrating the birthday. And you see all those, and I'm going, wow, that's a supporter. Ladies and gentlemen, Orange County Register, Eric Spitz.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here. I think about when we first got to the Register and we had to decide what our tagline was going to be, what we stood for. And we came up with, we are here in the service of Orange County. There's so much service here on stage and in the audience. And I want to help you and inspire you through a gentleman that I didn't know very well. He just passed away last week. He was a veteran. He was a Navy SEAL. His name is Albert Jones. And he was the longtime principal and owner of Carden Hall, which is a school here in Newport Beach. And I decided to send my youngest daughter to Carden Hall for one reason. Well, there was two. One, she needed to stay on the rails, and they do a good job of that. But I walked out the first day when I was visiting, and the sign as you're walking out of the school says, "Go forth and serve." It would make me and everyone else in this community and in this country better if we would all take the opportunity when people congratulate you as veterans to inspire them to go forth and serve. Use your platform and your inspiration to help other people serve. We need more service in this community. We need more service in this country.
Last year we kind of started a little tradition, or we wanted to start a little tradition, going over some of the local heroes and some of those individuals that got the Congressional Medal of Honor. We're very, very fortunate when the group got together this year, we decided we wanted to honor those Korean War veterans. So we went back and we looked, and we found there were 2 Medal of Honor recipients from the County of Orange. It was William E. Barber, who was, well, go ahead, you can applaud. Yeah, okay. And I'll be brief with this. I just wanted to let you know that William E. Barber, actually he passed away in Irvine, and there's a big park named after him in Irvine. Not the great park, but he has his own. Okay. But from November 28th to December 3rd, 1950, while suffering from serious injuries, Captain William Barber rallied his troops to hold Fox Hill in North Korea, a crucial pass needed as an escape route for 2 Marine regiments. After surgery and 2 months of recuperation in Japan Military Hospital, Barber was awarded the Medal of Honor on August 20th, 1952. We're going to go ahead. We're going to lead this up so you can go, because now with the new media, I actually put the YouTube number on here so you can really go to YouTube and look at these. Right? And the other one you'll hear about in a few minutes, but we're going to talk, just briefly let you know that we're very, very fortunate to have Tabor Rubin here with us today as our Medal of Honor recipient. We were very fortunate a couple of weeks ago in July, a couple months ago in July, and we unveiled the stamp for him, which we will do ceremonially again in a few minutes. But we're very, very fortunate to have a man that not only is a patriot, a hero, but a great humanitarian. You have to go to YouTube and hear his story. You have to. It's unbelievable the things that Tabor Rubin did. But moving forward, I'd like to have Sam Hahn come up. We have a special, hold on to that for me, Bob. We have a special program today. And what we did, as I said earlier, we invited as many Korean War veterans as we could to come celebrate Veterans Today. And one of the things we did was we even asked some of the members of the Republic of Korea to please come in and be part of this. In fact, would all of you please stand? Members of the Republic of Korea, war veterans, please stand up. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And what we did, the Republic of Korea decided to do a book for American veterans that fought during the Korean War. So all of the veterans today, American veterans, will be getting a Korean War book inside their bag. They will get a nice certificate from a lot of the members of the legislature here, the state legislature and Congress. Also get a nice T-shirt, exactly what you need, another T-shirt. But it says duty, honor, and country on it, American flag. Yeah, yeah. Compliments of Hurley. Yeah. Well, I came from compliments of Hurley. Just leave it there. The other thing that we decided to do inside the bag, you have some resource information, and please pass that on to other veterans. But again, we're trying to make sure that you get the what's called a HEHE, housing, employment, health, education, and legal information you can to get your benefits. You know, my namesake in Washington, D.C., the new Secretary of Veterans Affairs, that's a joke. He's Bob McDonald, and I'm Bob McDonald. So my namesake is making a big effort and a big push to make sure veterans get a new deal and a fair deal. And I'm going to help push that agenda. Thank you. Thank you. One of the other things that we did, I'm going to ask Sam, Sam Hahn, who's with Assemblyman Don Wagner's office, is also representing the Republic of Korea General Consulate that's here. And so I'm going to turn the microphone over to him for a brief remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You know, I look around and I see Republicans, I see Democrats, I see Labor, and I see business folk, and I see all of us coming together because of the veterans. And it's either that or the free beer. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely the veterans. Well, today I'm honored to represent the Korean Consul General, and if you will, the Korean Consul General's office has graciously brought forth the Ambassador Medal, and this is only for Korean War veterans. Obviously, Nick, I don't know if I told you, but they don't make these anymore. And actually, they ran out. But when we heard that there was going to be an event like this, they literally rounded up as many medals as they could find, and they found exactly enough for all of our Korean War veterans who are here today. If you have your medals, I'm going to ask you to please pull them out at this time. And if you are a family member or a veteran serviceman or woman, if you can come, and I'm going to read the proclamation, and after the proclamation, if you can, please put the medal on. And today we will be awarding on this stage Mr. Mr. Tibor Rubin. So allow me to read this, and actually Supervisor Nelson, if you'll help me with this and put the medal upon him. The proclamation says, Ambassador for Peace, it is a great honor and pleasure to express the everlasting gratitude of the Republic of Korea and our people for the service you and your countrymen have performed in restoring and preserving our freedom and democracy. We cherish in our hearts the memory of your boundless sacrifice in helping us reestablish our free nation. In grateful recognition of your dedicated contributions, it is our privilege to proclaim you as an ambassador for peace. With every good wish of people of the Republic of Korea, let us each reaffirm our mutual respect and friendship that may endure for generations to come. Signed by the Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, Republic of Korea, and the Chairman, Korean Veterans Association, Republic of Affairs. Congratulations, sir. And please, there are veterans here. Let's give it one more round of applause for all of our veterans here today. Thank you.
And to our Medal of Honor recipient, congratulations. And from the United States Congress, we have a flag flown over our nation's capital for him.
Let's give one big more round of applause for our Korean War veterans. And if there are any Korean War veterans that didn't get a chance to check in or haven't signed the board over here at the booth, please go over there. We have a package for you. So if you missed it, going over there, we'll still take care of it. In July, In July, we had an opportunity to unveil the Medal of Honor stamp for the Korean War, and we'd like to, at this point in time, ceremonially unveil the award, the Medal of Honor stamp. But at this point in time, I'd love to have Bob Lockovich, who was there, and he's a United States Marine Corps veteran, to give us a little overview of the stamp. Robert?
Thank you, Bobby. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here today to remember a war and those who fought it so valiantly. The Korean War was not long, but it claimed the lives of almost 2 million people. American author Herman Wouk wrote, "The beginning of the war lies in remembrance." The United States Postal Service has long served as an important conduit for remembrances. Troops in Korea wrote home to their loved ones, often recalling the realities of battle. Take the 19-year-old who wrote to his sweetheart, "Over here, your past is your last breath. Your present is this breath, and your future is your next breath. You don't make too many promises." 2 days after he wrote this, he was killed. Or the soldier who wrote to his parents, "Had a dream last night. I was sitting in our kitchen at home. Mom pulled out some beautiful hot rolls out of the oven. When I woke up, I was chewing on a chunk of snow." Today, the United States Postal Service is pleased and proud to present 2 commemorative stamps honoring Korean War Medal of Honor recipients. These stamps were issued on July 26, 2014 in Washington, D.C. One stamp shows the Navy version of the medal, and the other picture is the Army version. The Medal of Honor is awarded by the President of the United States to members of the armed forces who distinguished themselves conspicuously by gallantry at the risk of life, above and beyond the call of duty, while engaged in action against the enemy of the United States. Of the 7 million Americans who served during the Korean War, only 145 received the Medal of Honor. 2/3 of these recipients were killed in action. The stamps are presented in prestige folios, each one containing 20 stamps and the names of all 145 Korean Medal of Honor recipients. Each folio has photos of the recipients who were living at the time of the stamp's design, including Orange County resident Tibor Rubin of Garden Grove, who served in Korea with the United States Army. And again, we are very proud to have Corporal Tibor Rubin here with us again today. Let's give him another hand, please. And as Bobby mentioned earlier, please go to YouTube and hear his extraordinary story. What a courageous and brave man. He was in a concentration camp. When the war ended, the soldiers released him, and at that time he says, "Thank you so much. I want to go to the United States and be G.I. Joe." And his wish came true. He became G.I. Joe. And he was also a prisoner of war, and he helped many fellow Americans while being a prisoner of war. So please, again, go to the website, Tibor Rubin, T-I-B-O-R-R-U-B-I-N, and please hear his extraordinary interviews he had done over the last 5 years. At this time, I would like to ask all of our guests to come up and do the unveiling of the Korean Medal of Honor stamps. The Korean War Medal of Honor Tibor is right here. That's his picture right there. You see his picture right there? That's Tibor. Yeah. Show him his picture right there.
Right here. Look, point right here. Point at your young picture. That's you.
Where's his daughter, Rosie? Rosie? Where's Rosie? Rosie, come up here. Come on up, Rosie. Yeah. Okay. This is his daughter, Rosie. Does he want to stand up?
Okay, very good, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the unveiling of our stamp. I'd like to make a couple announcements. I'd like to have all the Korean War veterans, please, after the singing of America the Beautiful, please stay in your seats. We're going to get a group shot. Okay, and Tibor Rubin. Tibor Rubin. All right, I'm going to introduce. Okay, you want to say thank you?
We'll say thank you very much from both of us, and a happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service to all the veterans, past, present, and future, and we love you very much. Thank you very much. That's okay.
Thank you, Tibor. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Tibor Rubin. All right, now I'm going to have Miss Shelea come up and sing for us. Shelea?
It's such an honor to be here today. I have 3 generations of armed forces in my family. My grandfather was a captain in the Army, and his son was in the Army, and his grandson was in the Army. And so I stand here so proud to sing for all of you wonderful heroes. There's no other place I would rather be today, right now. So here I sing this special song, America the Beautiful, for all of you. Happy Veterans Day. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves love you.